Summer Camp Island is a show about a group of kids on a magical island run by witches, released in 2018 on Cartoon Network and made by Pott, who is known for not a whole lot besides Summer Camp Island, and being the voice of Susie. She has written some later episodes of Adventure Time, but I can't really comment on those. I got really sick of that show after the first season, which is also the case for a lot of other cartoons that I've tried to watch. But this cartoon is one that I watched all 5 seasons of, totaling 100 episodes, and there's a good reason for that. This show is great. I know what you're thinking, this is just a dumb kid show, and you're right, it is. Okay, look, I know my channel's audience is not the right type for the show, so to those people it's gonna be a bit of an obstacle to try and get into it. But if you persevere, you'll find that there's something truly special about No! It's not like My Little Pony, or a lot of other cartoons. And I genuinely mean that, but I'll talk more in detail about that later. The show starts off with the 2 main characters, Oscar, an elephant, and Hedgehog, a hedgehog, going off to the magical Summer Camp Island. They get introduced to Susie and the rest of the witches, and they all just settle in. Hedgehog is all enthusiastic, but Oscar is a lot more awkward and struggles to acclimate, but it all works out in the end, because obviously it would. And that about sets the expectations for the rest of the show. It's cute, has good characters, and a good sense of humor.
What is it with you guys and breakfast?
I like my orange juice with plenty of pulp. Hee hee.
You save your special orange juice orders for Oscar and Hedgehog.
But what stuck out to me the most was the fact that it's surprisingly normal. The characters behave like what you would expect from a bunch of kids arriving at a magical island. They hire child voice actors for the child characters, and they don't put on a funny voice or anything. Not even the witches or monsters or anyone else has funny voices. Well, not counting the occasional British accent.
The one that can suck my dick!
The animation is smooth and pleasant looking, and it's all animated really well with these simple character designs and soft colors. But it still remains expressive and full of life. They're not afraid to go off-model to really convey something.
Fly, 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 fly.
Ow. Close enough. You're a real witch now.
They don't do it all the time or with every character, so it never gets annoying or anything. It's funny when it happens, so even if what you're seeing right now looks dumb, it doesn't feel that way when you watch the show. It all makes for a cartoon that's just nice. You enjoy watching it and getting absorbed in these dumb little adventures with all these cute little characters solving innocuous problems, and it just puts a big dumb smile on my face. Imagine that, a cartoon that makes me smile. I can't even remember the last time that happened. If that's not proof that this is something truly special, then I don't know what is.
Potato tots, these are all I got. You might think that's not a lot, but wait until you try.
Okay, look, again, nothing's gonna change the fact that this show is aimed at little kids, and me liking something is not indicative of it being more than what it is, so I'm gonna stop rambling and show off some parts of the show that stick out to me, better illustrating what I think makes this cartoon.
Here they are.
I was rewatching the show and I completely forgot about that scene. My god, I was so caught off guard by that. One thing about the show that's really good is the lore, believe it or not. In Season 5, Episode 4, Susie struggles to deal with a friendship that ended recently. It's then we find out that the witches deal with their emotional baggage by burping out ghosts that represent what's bothering them. And instead of dealing with those problems, Susie hides the ghosts in a deep swamp, in a little burp ghost society. All fine and well until one of the witches, Betsy, falls in love with a ghost boy. We see them bond together throughout a 3-episode storyline, and by the end of it we see Susie erasing the ghost's memories after thinking he was at her house to confront her about what had happened between her and Ramona, Susie's best friend, who was forced to be stuck in another dimension forever. Because Susie couldn't deal with how she felt about her best friend, one of the witches lost her boyfriend.
He left without saying goodbye? I cried for like a month. He was so handsome.
Well, I'll tell you now. I probably told you then. You're better off without him.
There's sort of a cruel irony to the whole story, and it really has some mature edge to it. And you really feel for these characters, which is not at all what you would expect from a show like this, let alone 5 seasons in. But the best part about this entire storyline is the fact that it directly ends where Season 1 Episode 8 starts. They dedicated an entire 3-part storyline to a single character you only saw once during that season. That is some quality storytelling, way above expectations. You could watch those 3 Season 5 episodes and Episode 8 back to back, and you couldn't tell that they were made 4 years apart. Not a lot of shows can say that they've done something like that. My guess is that this storyline was already planned in advance and the show was just shifted around a bit after the show was put on HBO Max after the first season ended. I think it's pretty strange that no one is talking about this cartoon. Something like this, which is somewhat obscure and has plenty of good lore and character moments, would be perfect for any reviewer. Which reminds me, there's a small chance someone who worked on the show sees this video. That would be most unfortunate, making such a wonderful show and seeing me, of all people, voice their opinions on it with all the baggage that comes with. Some smaller channels have reviewed the show, and Rebel Taxi mentioned it in a video a couple years ago. I didn't know he did before I made this review, but apparently his opinion of the show is the direct opposite of mine. He thought it was sensory overload and too cutesy and ADHD for someone like him, which is basically how I feel with most other cartoons, including what is supposed to be cartoons for grown-ups, but not Summer Camp Island, for reasons I've mentioned earlier in this review. I think my assessment of the show is more accurate than his, but I don't know, maybe he's like Johnny from Ed, Edd n Eddy, and he gets freaked out by everything and everyone having eyes and a mouth. And by extension, consciousness. Which, to be fair, is quite freaky when you think about it. That's another thing about the show. Everything talks. The grass, the food, the clouds. Look, Susie just killed those chips in the intro. Poor Oscar can't even jerk off without 10 different living creatures staring at him. Let alone take a
Oh, Mortimer, what you getting?
Toilet paper?
Non-magical toilet paper?
Yeah, a non-scented.
Huh, how about that?
Or maybe all of them are used to it at this point.
Wanna watch me jerk off? Watch me jerk off? Watch me jerk off in front of you?
Or maybe Oscar's into that sort of thing. It would definitely explain some of these clips.
Oh, nuts. Got tea on me new jeans. Oscar, what?
Oscar, this is beyond the pale.
Aw, come on, guys. You're acting like you never seen a... Whoa, 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 ah! Oh, no, oh, no, no, no. Ah! What's up, tickleheads? So as you know, we don't have a tickle victim tonight. Ooh. Hey, guys.
Wait, what the fuck? What kind of ending was that? I'm glad the one and only computer on the island isn't alive. The island is weird enough without internet access.
This is LargeElephantDicks.com.
I think Oscar and Hedgehog are really entertaining to watch. They work really well off each other and you can tell they really enjoy each other's company. It's just fun to watch them do stuff.
I bet it's just a to-do list. Occam's razor. Oscar's laser. Pew, pew.
The other characters are also entertaining. Susie practically being a main character herself. She's mean and lazy, but always taking responsibility when it matters.
Susie, showing Oscar and Hedgehog that tree was a great idea.
What? No, I stopped there to catch my breath. I was going to throw them off the cliff.
She's also fun to watch.
Now to slip into something a little more comfortable. You're a stalker?
Alright, clearly Hedgehog and Oscar have the wrong idea here. You may have noticed this already, but the show has a lot of funny freeze frames and out of context moments. I think I'm accidentally making the show look a lot more weird than it is. I mean, look at this frame, and this, and this. Or what about this scene?
You're an independent boy, Oscar! Thank you!
Or this scene?
Dear Hedgehog, today I ate a bug.
Man, what the hell? That's nasty.
I just can't help it. There's so many funny moments like this, how can I not? After the second season, the show throws in these lore episodes and character arcs that explains a lot of the history behind the island, the monsters, the witches, the other campers, and the gay baby aliens. Oh yeah, and there's gay baby aliens. Well, the King and Puddle are the only ones who make it obvious that they're in a relationship. Thankfully, it's not as weird as it sounds. In season 1, you see Oscar and Hedgehog help the two get into a relationship. With a mixtape, of course. After that, they just exist as side characters. A couple of episodes that they have dedicated to them are fine as is, and I'm glad they didn't go overboard with these characters. The monsters and the aliens and whatever else isn't bad, but I just find Hedgehog and Oscar the most entertaining. Susie gets most of the lore episodes, showing how and why she became a witch, as well as being the leader of the island. The story of her friends and family and stuff, and how the island came to be, it's pretty neat. I'm usually not one to care about this sort of stuff, but seeing it happen and how it affects the characters is pretty interesting. Obviously, there's more characters and they all have their lore and dedicated lore episodes and stuff, but that's another thing that's so great about this show. So far, there's only about 20 episodes that go into the lore and the other 80 are just normal episodes. It's all explained in a really concise way and you're not spending more time learning about these characters than what's necessary. Normally you would expect the opposite, where the entire show is building up to something and doing this and doing that. But no, Summer Camp Island doesn't waste your time. The Ghost Boy story I talked about earlier only consists of 4 episodes, and they're all about 11 minutes each, and that's all it needs. I can think of so many shows where the story is just useless padding, building up to something and then failing to deliver in the last couple of episodes. Even highly acclaimed shows like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones and Attack on Titan have hours worth of filler per season. That is completely ridiculous and unacceptable by my standards. Although, that's just me. People really like those shows and they're allowed to do so. But it's safe to say, Summer Camp Island did not deserve to get so little attention. And right as I was writing this review, I heard the news about the show ending. I don't know how many episodes are planned, but once they're out, it's done. That's the last of Summer Camp Island. Over 100 episodes is actually really good for a show like this, but I think it was just never meant to be. Here you have a modern cartoon with no pretense, no filler, no obnoxious main characters, no fucking gun control metaphors, and over-the-top contrived LGBT whatever representations that's so tone-deaf it comes off as spiteful and ironically enough has the opposite effect of what LGBT representation is supposed to accomplish. It's just a show that's good. One of the reasons I decided to watch this cartoon was because other people didn't want to, but that didn't stop the creators from putting a lot of good intentions and soul into it, and I think that's really admirable. So that's Summer Camp Island, a great, underrated cartoon I'm glad I got into. If you don't mind watching something made for a younger audience, I highly recommend giving this cartoon a watch. Although, I don't know if I did a good job convincing anyone to watch it with how this review went. I don't know how to end this review, so I guess I'll say the auto-tuned fish from Season 4, Episode 1 give me a real chuckle because it reminded me of that old SpongeBob in the Hood series by Kazan TV.
Hop on my back and let's explore.
I'm a real SpongeBob nigga, straight up, I'm a real SpongeBob nigga.
Totally stylish. Oof, sex.